Welcome to Horror News Radio for January 30th, 2024. Join us for horror movie news. I always mess it up. Tonight we have noteworthy trailers, February horror movie releases, all coming up next. Mondays. I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this is HNR, the official Gruesome Magazine horror news podcast. Back with me again this week as the scariest, glorious, bloodiest co-host on the net. And that means Dave Dreher, or lead news writer at Gruesome Magazine.
Hi, Doc. How are ya?
How many goof ups can I do in 1 minute?
not even a minute. You were actually at 40 seconds. So
40, I know. I was rounding up for my own benefit. All right. So news has been slightly slow this week for whatever.
It's like I like to call it a week of actual non-news. Everybody reports on it, but it's really not anything.
Yeah. I feel like it's all pre Super Bowl non-news, or
it could be. Yeah, it could be.
Right.
Could be.
What we got for you tonight, we did in the past week, we did get a couple of trailers that are incredible and worth noting. And we also need to look forward to what is coming out in February, which is a worthy news item, if you ask me.
I agree.
So that is our news tonight. So let's get started. But before we do, we hope you enjoy HNR, and if you do, please hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend buttons. It's easy, free to do, and each click will help us find more fans like you and help us be able to do this content for you as well. And if you like reviews, be sure to check out Gruesome Magazine podcast, where we do reviews of theatrical and streaming content. And then we also have 3 decades of horror podcasts, one where we do the classic era, which is up through the 60s, and then we have the 70s and we have the 80s, which we come out about every other week, each one. Some really cool things there. All right, Dave, sir.
Yes, Doc. How may I help you?
Let's start off with what is probably the most exciting of the trailers, if you ask me. Might be a familiar franchise getting yet another film. Tell me about it, Dave.
Yes, of course. We're talking about the one, the only Ghostbusters. This foray is going by Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. We've talked about this briefly in a couple other news stories, but today we got the full trailer, Doc. The full freaking trailer. 2 minutes and 39 seconds of
bliss.
Ectoplasmic fun. I enjoyed this trailer a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I very much loved the Ghostbuster franchise. I loved what they did with Afterlife. Kind of blending the old with the new, and it appears that this is going to continue, because in this Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the Spengler family is returning to where it all started. Good old New York City firehouse. They team up with the original Ghostbusters, who have developed a top secret research lab to take busting ghosts to a new level, Doc.
Yes.
Discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, and Ghostbusters, new and old, well, you know what they got to do. They got to be busting ghosts. Directed by Gil Kenan, written by Gil Kenan and Jason Reitman, and of course Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, just keeps going. Patton Oswalt, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts. I skipped a middle. I skipped a couple in there because the names were too hard to pronounce. But I really think this looks like fun. It's very much a lot of that. I remember that kind of moments, but I love it.
Yeah, I like it. Paul Rudd goes, you know what, busting makes me, don't
say it. It makes me feel good.
It has some great moments with the original cast, especially when they realize Annie Potts' character has suited up.
Yeah, and the big bad looks kind of cool. I'm not going to admit, we get a real good look at the big demon, master demon, whatever you want to call him, and of course, Dickhead, or what was his name, Dickless. Dickless is there.
Yes. It is true. The man has. But also, I like, was the reference Tall, Dark, and Frozen or something?
Yeah, tall, dark, and horny.
Horny, yes.
Yes, I believe he says. Yeah. So.
And we get Slimer at the end. We get a nice, good shot of Slimer.
Yeah. So this looks like a lot of fun. March 22nd is when this one's hitting the theaters. This one kind of has Blockbuster written all over it. It feels to me.
Time to get your tickets, right? Time to get your tickets.
Time to get your tickets. It is indeed.
Well, also coming out on March 22nd, Dave, is a film from Neon, which I'm sure a number of films that you love, Neon. And this one's called Immaculate, which is a Sydney Sweeney starring vehicle, where she plays a nun that has immaculate pregnancy, right? That thing. To give you a little bit more behind it, Sydney Sweeney stars as Cecilia, an American nun of devout faith, embarking on a new journey in a remote convent in picturesque Italy countryside. Where else would you go? Cecilia's warm welcome actually quickly devolves into a nightmare as it becomes clear her new home harbors a sinister secret and unspeakable horrors, which involve her becoming pregnant with either the one or the other. One or the other, right? We don't know.
Or demon. Yeah, it had like a Rosemary's Baby vibe for sure.
Absolutely, a little bit of Omen thrown in for mix and a little. But okay, so I'll watch it. Sydney Sweeney, right?
Yeah.
It's directed by Michael Mohan and written by Andrew Lobel. But I'll see it because she's in it and she's a fascinating actress. Does some really good stuff. Is growing as one of our upcoming stars. And it's kind of, in the possession-y kind of wheelhouse that I like to watch, more on the Omen side of it, but I'll go with it. The only thing is that, and some of the scares in the trailer seem a little trite.
Yeah, they're definitely jump scare type thing. It wasn't bad. I don't think it was a bad trailer at all, and I think I'm interested in seeing the movie. As you know, I'm not big into the religious horror.
No, you are not
type stuff. That's not my vibe. But again, Sydney Sweeney, I love her in Euphoria. Love her in The White Lotus. I would likely just see it because she's in it, and I enjoy her work. I'm not going to say this one's a must-see for me, but I'll probably end up watching it.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming out March 22nd, the same as the Ghostbusters, so it's going to be hard to figure out which one do you see. Well,
yeah, well, in these Neon movies, they don't tend to play in like large areas. You know what I mean? I mean, they're sporadic in where they release them. Like it might play in one theater, within 100-mile radius of where you live. So,
exactly. Yeah,
you might have to hunt for it, I guess.
They don't hit as many theaters. They're especially not as much as Ghostbusters will. That's for certain. Many screens.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is going to be everywhere. Yeah, you ain't going to be able to get away from Ghostbusters.
But in the same respect, I like that she's doing horror films. She's done a few others, and I'm excited to see where this goes. We love Shudder, do we not, Dave? We'll talk about some Shudder releases in February, but we love Shudder.
We do love Shudder.
Do we have anything coming out with a trailer this week from Shudder, maybe?
You think we could have? And guess what, Doc? Also hitting streaming on March 22nd. March 22nd going to be a busy day for us horror fans.
Are we just shoving all our horror movies in March 22nd?
Just March 22nd. Right. 322. What does it mean? We don't know what it means. 322. This is You'll Never Find Me. We got a trailer today. Kind of a quick little synopsis, but it is accurate. A thunderstorm brings a mysterious woman to Patrick's isolated mobile home. Actually, it looks more like a trailer. As night unfolds, secrets and realities blur. Will she be able to leave, or is something darker keeping her there? Like maybe Patrick's well-trimmed beard. But this one, again, it looks good. It's definitely kind of leaning more into the A24 artistic woke horror kind of thing. Lots of high camera angles, and I thought the trailer was very, very dark, not in tone, but in what the hell's going on. I can't see anything. But again, with that being said, it is intriguing because it really appears to be just some guy's trailer, and this chick shows up at the door, and apparently she's hiding from something,
or she's not.
Hard to say.
We don't know. You'll never find me. We don't know which one it is. Is it the guy or is it the girls? And you'll never find me. But never really clear about that. But
what did you think of it? You're a bigger fan of this what I call new wave horror than I am. Is this something that intrigues you?
Very much so, and I think it's a great Shudder film. It suits what I think of when you talk about Shudder films. There's a couple of different types of films. We'll talk about some in the next segment, but this one has that kind of high independent mentality to it. Independent feature. High concept, whatever is going on between these two, and then of course the reviews that are in the trailer, which I love having, are all like promising a terrific ending in this that you won't believe. So I'm ready for that. To me, it looks creepy and scary. It looks like a two-hander. It's basically her versus him, and whatever.
Yeah, a very, very confined space. I mean, it looks like the bulk of the movie takes place in this little trailer, from what you can tell.
What's interesting is I think we kind of reveal our where we are in the United States between whether you call it a mobile home or you call it a trailer. Because if you get down to Florida, they're all mobile homes. You get into the more north you go, they become trailers and trailer parks.
Yes. Well, here if it's on, here if it's on wheels, it's a trailer. When this look like something you hook up to a car and drive away.
Yep.
If it's stationary, then it's a mobile home.
Yeah. It gets a little blurred, between north and south. But anyway, it just an aside. So there you go. There are 3 trailers that came out in the past week. All of them look fun and exciting, and we'll definitely be talking about them when we talk about what's coming up in March. Just like now, we're going to be talking about what's coming up in February. So we have 7 films to talk about. We're basically going to give you the rundown of when, who's in them, what's going on, a recommendation, what day they're coming out. I'll start things off, Dave. Is that okay with you?
Let's do it. Let's do it, Doc.
First up, on the 2nd of February, coming out as you hear this, if you're hearing it as we deliver it, it's coming out this Friday, is Dario Argento Panico. Or Panico, I think it's Panico, but it's basically a documentary about Dario Argento that is coming to Shudder on the 2nd of February. We have a review of that coming out this week on Gruesome Magazine, so check that out if you want to know more. But it is very exciting. It's it really dives in. I'll just let you know it dives into what makes Dario Argento tick, and how that makeup changed through his career from like 65, 70 when he was writing scripts and starting his first film, all the way through today as he's writing his next script. Really interesting. A lot of really get to know more about him, but at the same time, it leaves so much mystery about him as well that it's very engrossing and very intriguing. I recommend it. It's coming out this week.
I haven't watched it yet. I have to watch it. I do have the screener. I just haven't watched it.
All right. What's coming out after that?
Coming out on February 9th, we have a mainstream release in theaters. This is Lisa Frankenstein. We've been heralding this as the return of Diablo Cody to the horror realm. Of course, she was the writer behind Jennifer's Body, which has aged well over the years. Actually, it's kind of a modern day cult film in a way.
Yeah, it definitely has grown fandom over the years. Yes.
Yeah. Lisa Frankenstein, like I said, will be hitting on February 9th. It's hitting theaters just in time for Valentine's Day, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah. Catherine Newton and Cole Sprouse star. This is directed by Zelda Williams. And tell me, Doc, you were the one who informed me. Who is Zelda Williams exactly?
She is the daughter of Robin Williams, the late comedian.
I find that fascinating.
Yes.
Do we know if it's her first film? I don't mean to send you on an IMDb hunt, but I just perhaps you might have looked already.
I believe it's her first feature film. I am going to double check myself.
I knew it. There goes IMDb. Well, while you're doing that, I'll run through the synopsis here. A coming-of-age love story from acclaimed writer Diablo Cody about a misunderstood teenager and her high school crush who happens to be a handsome corpse. Don't you hate it when that happens, Doc? After a set of playful, horrific circumstances, bringing him back to life, the two embark on a murderous journey to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts. Diablo Cody certainly has that comedic air to her. She does. Jennifer's Body had that dark humor. What was the other movie she did? Juno, I believe, was the other one she did. Had the same type of thing. So I think we'll be seeing a lot of that here. I'm actually a little fascinated to see this one.
Yeah, and they're putting it out the same weekend as the Super Bowl, but maybe they're kidding the right crowd. It's interesting. But the other film she did was Kappa Kappa Die in 2020. I don't know much about it other than but everything else is music videos or a TV movie here and there or TV series. So I think this is by far her breakout film, if you will.
Her theatrical film debut, if you will.
Yeah.
It sounds good. It sounds a little bit like remember that movie Warm Bodies about a decade back?
It does with the Frankenstein twist.
Yeah, with a Frankenstein twist to it a little bit. So, but we'll see. I'm a little fascinated to see this one. I would say this one's kind of on my interested to view list.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking.
A lot of views. The trailer's pushing 5 million views, so that's pretty good.
I think a lot of people going to be watching it. All right, up next, the same day is a film called Out of Darkness, and this is from the same company just put out the ISS movie, International Space Station movie. This one is a sci-fi mixed with horror again. In a way, it goes back in time to cavemen, and they encounter something supernatural that threatens the tribe. The trailer looks fantastic. Just the scope and the feel of it. It's directed by Andrew Cumming. Written by Ruth Greenberg and Andrew Cumming and Oliver Kastman. I'm just going to name a couple of the cast because I don't know who they are or what they have, but Chuku Modu, Kit Young, Sophia Oakley Green, Iola Evans, and others. But I think I'll just do the synopsis. How about that? In the old Stone Age, there you go, right? A desperate gang of early humans I like that. We'll just call them early humans.
Early humans.
Band together in search of a new land. When they suspect a malevolent mystical being is hunting them down, the clan are forced to confront a danger they've never envisaged. That's what they use. That's the word to use. But yeah, so they encounter something highly supernatural. The trailer looks fantastic. We'll be reviewing again on Gruesome Magazine. I'm looking forward to it.
It's happening. You know it's happening. I know it's happening. You know it's happening.
Well, there's still one more movie to do on February 9th. What is that, Dave?
What is it with these movies all coming out on the same date? It is so weird. We got several of them. This one is a Screambox original, Doc. Do you like the Screambox originals?
Many of them.
Okay, good. This one is called Here for Blood, and this is a not quite sure how you describe this. It's a wrestling slasher film.
It's a wrestling slasher by way of 1990s horror. Yeah.
So anyway, it looks kind of fun, and I'll do the same thing here. I'm just going to kind of read the quick synopsis. A throwback to 90s horror. Rowdy pro wrestler struggling to make ends meet agrees to fill in as a last-minute replacement for his girlfriend's well-paying babysitter's job. Upon arriving at the secluded family home, he meets the precocious 10-year-old Grace. What starts off as a quiet night of pizza and video games quickly spirals into bloody, violent chaos. You got to love bloody, violent chaos. That's the best.
Yes, absolutely.
They find themselves fighting for their lives as they battle an evil cult. And the trailer, when you witness it, it's all that and more. It's got a definite tongue-in-cheek humor. Kind of reminds me of like the Psycho Gorman kind of humor. I liked it. I thought the trailer was a lot of fun. This is another one that is on my, we'll definitely be watching it in February list.
Yeah, I don't know much about wrestling, but I guess Sean Roberts is the guy that was playing our wrestler guy, right?
Don't know what that means, but
I
yes,
don't either. I don't either. But he looks the part, and we'll get him having. So a week later, Dave, we get an Australian picture that is getting a lot of buzz. It is just a very small cast. Lily Sullivan is the main cast person. The director is Matt Vesely. The writer is Lucy Campbell, and it's called Monolith. And Monolith is basically, well, I'll do the synopsis and then we'll talk about it. Synopsis: a headstrong journalist whose investigative podcast uncovers a strange artifact, an alien conspiracy, and lies at the heart of her own story. So basically, it's, the monolith is something from space, and she's discovered it through her podcast investigation, and things go sideways. The trailer is very intriguing. It's kind of a high concept sci-fi with horror undertones. It's shot very, it looks like deep blues, dark blues, grays, and blacks. It's very cool in that, not warm. And probably a lot of audio horror in it where it's just sounds. Very much looking forward to seeing this. We'll be reviewing it here in the next couple of weeks. This is on my radar. This is the kind I like. What about you?
This is another one like you called a high concept one, but this one I found to be very intriguing. I like the whole take on this, of this podcast girl kind of stumbling on this invasion, for lack of a better word, that's occurring right before our eyes and no one knows. I think it looks really, really intriguing. And the monolith very much reminded me of the thing in 2010.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But yeah, I think this one looks good. The Wogo USA films, they don't release a lot of stuff, but I kind of find myself, I kind of generally like most of what they put out.
Yeah, they for us in the stateside, they bring the foreign films to us, so I like it. That's coming out on the 16th. Look for that. Now, another high concept by way of like Snakes on a Plane is also coming on the 16th. You know the joke. Dave, what am I talking about?
And we've talked about this one previously. This is No Way Up. This is a disaster film, horror film, sharksploitation film mashup. I think this looks like a ton of fun. So the basic, I'm not reading the synopsis. I've watched this trailer like 15 times. Basic storyline is airplane goes up, airplane falls down, lands in the water. People are trapped inside the plane. There's an air bubble. There's people trapped in there, and there's sharks, and people die.
There's a shark on the plane.
But it looks like a lot of fun. It really does. I've said this before. Every time we've talked about this, it really reminds me of a book I read recently that is that exact same concept. I'm kind of curious to see the full film to see how close they come to that. I'm sure it's totally accidental, but it's just odd that I've got this book that I just read that's that exact same concept, and now this is what. But this was when I looked this one up. This has been in production, I think, before the book was even released, before it came out. So it's just two people having a similar idea at the same time. I'm very much a disaster movie fan, so this one hits me in all the right buttons. The disaster stuff intrigues me. The shark stuff intrigues me. The hopefully bloody gore intrigues me. So I'm in. I am in. And this comes from Altitude Films, which is another one of those ones that they don't release a lot, but the stuff they put out, I kind of tend to lean towards liking.
Yeah, and they it's coming from the executive producers of the 47 Meters Down series. So
yes,
another series of shark films. You know me, I love shark films. I'm looking forward to this. No Way Up. I told my wife about this, and she goes, "Is it called Sharks on a Plane?" I said, "No, it's called No Way Up." So I literally, I can't stop thinking of it as
Sharks on a Plane. I feel like I need to read the official synopsis. It's really short, Doc, so kind of let me do it here, okay? Characters from very different backgrounds are thrown together when the plane they're traveling on crashes into the Pacific Ocean. The stricken airliner comes to rest perilously close to the edge of a bottomless ravine, with the surviving passengers and crew trapped in an air pocket. With their air supply rapidly running out, a nightmare fight for survival ensues as dangers from all sides hone in on them. Shark.
Shark.
So that's a little bit more of an exciting breakdown of what it is.
All right. The following week is our final film that we're going to talk about this month of February releases, and that's called Stop Motion. Now, this one is far more in the WTF mind kind of films. It's called Stop Motion. It's basically an artist who makes stop motion films, but starts to have what looks like a mental break, or maybe she's getting haunted by the stop. I don't know. It looks freaky. Let me read the synopsis. A stop motion animator struggles to control her demons after the loss of her overbearing mother. Whoa. Directed by Robert Morgan. The writers are Robin King and Robert Morgan. The stars include Aisling Franciosi. I screwed that up. Stella Gonette. I screwed that one up.
What? Gonad? Did you say gonad?
No, Gonad. Gonad. I'm going to stop talking now. It stars, people. I recommend you searching out the trailer for this. We're going to link it down below, and we might have some. If I do things right, you'll have a shot or two coming up. But it looks just so. I have to watch this. It looks so bizarre.
It does. It really does look intriguing. It's kind of a cross between a Ray Harryhausen and a Full Moon movie. But yeah, I'm totally with you there, Doc. It's like one of those things that's just so freaky to look at. You're like, I've got to see what this is about. I got to know.
Imagine if Tim Burton was twice the Tim Burton he usually is. So that's the 7 films that are coming out in February. We hope you will check them out and let us know what you think. We'll be reviewing most, if not all of them, on Gruesome Magazine. So check out the reviews when they come out. The 3 trailers we had, of course, was from Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Immaculate, and You'll Never Find Me. Coming out in March. Not only coming out in March, but coming out March 22nd. So let us know which of the trailers you're most excited about. Let us know which February release you are most excited about in the comments down below. Love to hear from you. Dave, this has been exciting, isn't it?
It's been fun. It's been fun. I like talking trailers. Talking trailers is fun.
I like looking forward to new movies, and I like seeing little bits to get me excited about them. I think all 10 of the films that we talked about tonight are worthy of our attention and our viewing and our dollars. For those who are able to spend the dollars to go to the theater and do it, I hope you can. It's going to be a fun month, or in this case, months.
Yeah, I was going to say a good fun 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
All right, Dave. Thanks for joining me. Let's say goodnight and get out of here.
Good night, everybody.